Adrian Peterson inactive today, injured last week in Baltimore, along with backup quarterback Christian Ponder. Matt Castle will make the start today for Wesley Frazier. 10 wins and a postseason appearance last year for the Vikings. This season, 3-9-1. Chip Kelly, in his first season as Eagles head coach, 5 consecutive wins, longest current streak in the NFL. Eagles win the toss, they defer. The rookie out of Tennessee, Cordero Patterson, back deep. And the Eagles keep it away from Patterson, who has returned 2 opening kickoffs for touchdowns this season. It's Joe Banyard, brought up from the practice squad yesterday, on the return as Matt Castle, the former Patriot and Chief, leads the Vikings offense onto the field.
And he gets an opportunity in back-to-back weeks to lead this offense. And unfortunately for the Minnesota Vikings, the season has gone the direction where there's some answers that they need to get down the stretch. The biggest question mark at the quarterback position. So giving Matt Castle an opportunity to follow up his good play last week against Baltimore.
Matt Asiata in the backfield. He has not carried the ball this season. Adrian Peterson out. Toby Gerhart is out. Top 2 tight ends out today for the Vikings as well, as Castle's pass is caught at the 34-yard line by Patterson. Gain of 9.
Well, a lot of pressure goes to this group right here. Kenny, you mentioned the situation at running back. Joe Berger gets the start for Brandon Fusco. So this group has to do a great job in protection, but they've also got to open up some running lanes. Matt Asiata, we saw him in college in a bowl game. He got in very, very late in the game last week. He's going to be a capable runner, but he's going to need some help from his teammates.
Second season out of Utah. On 2nd down and 1, this is Asiata as he fights his way close to a first down. D'Amico Ryans made the tackle. He's just short, so 3rd and 1 upcoming against this Eagles defense.
And we find ourselves talking about the Eagles offense with what Nick Foles has done and the changes with Chip Kelly, but this group right here has played very, very well the last month or so. D'Amico Ryans told us how well the defensive line is playing. They've really started to understand and grasp the concepts of this defense and have played extremely well. Says they key their performance week after week.
Jamarcus Webb, 73, in as an extra blocker. Joe Webb, the former quarterback, in a wide receiver, as Castle hands it off. And Asiata picks up the Vikings' first down.
I think this is exactly what we're going to see all day, Darryl. The short inside run, try to pound it, try to loosen up this offense a little bit, then a little play action to the outside. But, you know, it's not going to be an easy road for this Vikings team.
No, and you know the best defense against an explosive offense is for your offense to play well. So look for them to get into favorable down and distances and keep that clock rolling. Keep that Eagles offense on the sideline.
4th start of the season for Castle. Looking to throw on first down, and it's Greg Jennings, the former Green Bay Packer, who makes the catch out of the 44-yard line. Jennings, leading the Vikings, now has 49 receptions on the season.
And more for that, Kenny, not so much the production, but what he brings into the wide receiver meeting room. You've got some young guys in there, Cordero Patterson, Jerome Simpson. I think that Greg Jennings is going to be huge for those guys as he demonstrates how to be a professional, how to prepare week in and week out for an NFL season.
7 seasons in Green Bay for Jennings, including a Super Bowl title, as Asiata picks up another first down out to the 49-yard line, finally tackled by Fletcher Cox.
Just a downhill runner, more the type of Toby Gerhart than he is Adrian Peterson. I don't know if there's anybody that runs with the flair and style of Adrian Peterson in the NFL, very physical runner. But Matt Asiata, he's going to be very productive between the tackles. So if you feature that style of run, he could give you a nice performance this afternoon.
New set of downs for the Vikings.
It's coming.
3 carries, 7 yards so far today for Asiata. Castle with time, and it's caught by the tight end, Chase Ford, who spent some time with the Eagles on their practice squad last season. So without Kyle Rudolph and John Carlson, the top 2 tight ends, Ford with an opportunity today, and he gains 19.
Well, you heard the call by the Eagles defense. Here it comes. So you've got Cordero Patterson going in motion, and that's going to open up the right side. It's going to give that void as they follow that fake reverse or that swing pass out the backside. There's where that little void happened right there. As D'Amico Ryans has to respect that.
5th catch of the season for Ford. Three wide receivers, Darius Wright in the slot. Our first flags, it's a false start against the Vikings.
False start, number 40, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That's on the tight end, Rhett Ellison. So it pushes the Vikings back 5 yards.
We talked about the situation at the running back, but also at the tight end spot, for the Minnesota Vikings. John Carlson is out today. Kyle Rudolph out. So Rhett Ellison and Chase Ford will be your tight ends.
Hey, Rocco!
Empty backfield. 5 receivers in for the Vikings. On first down at 15. Castle to Patterson. And he's tackled at the 35-yard line by Brandon Boykin. Gain of just 3. Setting up second down and 12.
Well, this is a nice job by Matt Castle. First, handle the low snap. Second, you know that you've got a free rusher coming from the edge in Trent Cole, and you're able to get that ball out quick to Cordero Patterson on the outside.
Yeah, John Sullivan needs to just go and relax. He's got 2 linebackers in each A gap on either side. Relax, let your guards go, and know that you need a little bit of help inside there, but make sure that snap is good. That's one thing you got to concentrate on today.
On second down, Asiata, and he loses the couple again. It is Trent Cole who makes the play.
Gets a lot of credit for his ability to rush the passer, but also very good in the run, kind of squeezing down everything. If you leave him unblocked, he's so athletic, he can find his way through the mass of players and get to the ball carrier.
Cole, the 2-time Pro Bowler, leads the Eagles with 5 sacks this season. Now third down and 13. Vikings must get to the 23. Castle under pressure, throwing to his right. And he is out of bounds. About 5 yards shy of a first, so the Vikings will send out the field goal unit.
Well, D'Amico Ryans talked to us about the defensive line being the key, and you're only bringing 4. You're not blitzing anybody, but look at the amount of pressure they are getting. Matt Castle feels everything breaking down to his left and escapes out to the right.
So here is Blair Walsh, who is 12 of 14 lifetime from 50 plus. This is a 55-yard attempt. And Walsh's kick is no good. So after making the first 12 of his career from 50 plus, including a perfect 10 for 10 last season, he has now missed 3 in a row.
Game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Following the missed field goal, Eagles offense on the field. Terrific field position. They'll start from their 45-yard line. Eagles averaging over 400 yards per game on offense. They scored 28 points in the 4th quarter in the snow last Sunday against Detroit.
Chip Kelly likes to spread them receivers out.
And on first down, Goose, it's Riley Cooper. But he is met immediately by Andrew Sendejo for a loss of 2 yards on the play. 8th start for Foles. He's put up incredible numbers.
He really has. He's been very, very impressive. And he talked to us about how challenging this offense is mentally. It's very different from what he was growing up with in high school and college.
On second down and 12, LaShawn McCoy gains a couple. Chad Greenway, the tackle. McCoy, the NFL's leading rusher, set a franchise record last Sunday with 217 on the ground.
Just a tremendous day in the elements by this offense. And Chip Kelly mentioned all those guys right there by name. Added Brent Selleck, Jason Avant, outstanding on the outside with his blocking downfield for some of those long runs by LaShawn McCoy.
Chris Polk in the backfield, 3 wide receivers on third down and 10. Eagles must get to the Minnesota 45 as Foles' pass is off the hands of Zach Ertz. So the Eagles on their first possession go 3 and out to not gain a yard.
It's one of the things that happens in this offense is you can have the 3 and outs, and because you're playing at that quick pace, there's not a lot of time taken off that clock. So there's a premium on the execution at that pace, not just the pace, but the execution.
Donnie Jones, NFC Special Teams Player of the Week twice the last 4 games. Punts it inside the 10. Fair catch is called for by Marcus Sherrills. Terrific series for the Vikings defense.
This game is sponsored by Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL.
Vikings start at their 9-yard line. They picked up 43 yards, 3 first downs on their opening possession, but Blair Walsh missing wide left on the 55-yard field goal attempt. So it's 1st and 10 from the 9 for Castle and the Vikings, who have won their last 2 here at home. Vikings without a road victory this season. Asiata out across the 10. Michael Kendricks made the tackle. We check in for a game break with Kurt.
Jay Cutler back in the starting lineup after being injured for 4 games. Not the starting once. First possession. Now ball is tipped. It winds up in a Cleveland interception. Tashawn Gibson gets that. Browns at a field goal. They're up 3-0 early in this ball game. Kenny Moose and Goose.
Thanks, Kurt. Bears at 7-6, tied with the Lions for the NFC North Division lead. Castle on 2nd and 8. Wide open, Jerry is right. Picks up a first down and more. Right out to the 37-yard line.
Jerry is
26.
Right. He finds a huge void in the defense. Working from the outside, number 17 gets passed downfield. Now look at that big void. There's nobody there. Now, one of the things that I noticed from Matt Castle when he's in the game, the ball comes out quick and on time. He's very decisive. He's going to be more vertical down the field, a little bit more aggressive in jump ball situations with his guys. So I expect this ball to be stretched down the field a little bit more than whether it's Christian Ponder or when Josh Freeman was in there for his 1 game.
Castle starts the game 5 for 5. He's hit 4 different receivers. Castle moving to his right. He's now 6 for 6. It's Jennings, his 2nd reception for a gain of 6 as we take a look at the playoff picture in the NFC.
Well, why it was so critical for Chicago, you see them just on the outside there. Look at the wild cards in the NFC at 9-4. So, going to be critical for Philadelphia and Detroit to kind of close this thing out. They're not going to be really in that option for the wild card spot, so they've got to win their divisions.
Lions with the tiebreaker over the Bears. McCoy on the Eagles sideline. Eagles offense out on the field for just 68 seconds so far. Castle steps up and now fires downfield for Jennings. He's got it. Touchdown, Greg Jennings. 57 yards.
Well, credit Matt Castle on this one for his composure in the pocket because the Philadelphia Eagles were around him. Protection was breaking down. He did not panic. He saw the ability to step up and prolong this play to allow Greg Jennings down the field. Nice move right there to get around. Greg Jennings coming out of the slot right here. He needed all of that time that Matt Castle created for him to get to this point in the field.
4th touchdown of the season for Jennings. Only a 2nd in the last 9 games. Walsh, the extra point. Vikings over the Eagles 7-0.
This game is sponsored by Ford. Only Ford gives you EcoBoost fuel economy and a whole lot more.
7-0 lead for the Vikings. 91-yard drive, Minnesota's longest of the season. Castle now 7 for 7 in the first quarter.
I think one of the interesting things that he talked to us about on Friday with all the change at the quarterback position was actually having to go out and earn the respect of his teammates week in and week out, that he was the guy that could lead them to a victory that Sunday.
Jennings the touchdown. First place Eagles trail by 7. Eagles won the toss, deferred. Vikings missed a field goal. Eagles go 3 and out. Vikings 91-yard touchdown drive.
Now, Chip Kelly preaches efficiency along with pace of play, and this is the situation that you can find yourself in if you're not being efficient with this high up-tempo offense.
Eagles last in the league in time of possession, but Chip Kelly does not care about that.
He does not.
The toss to McCoy on first down. And LaShawn McCoy is out across the 35. He gains 16. on the first down run.
And I think the interesting thing is he finds out what the best matchup is. And we're not talking about individual matchups, Deshaun Jackson versus somebody, LaShawn McCoy versus somebody. It's the running game. It's these passes out to the perimeter. Where can he create the best matchup?
Balls fires downfield. And there is a flag. Pass intended for Jason Avant. Sean Prater, a former Eagle, making his first career start, number 27 on the coverage, and it's against the Eagles as Avant grabbed hold of Prater's jersey.
Pass interference, number 81, offense. It's 10-yard penalty, still first down.
A lot of times we talk about the defender not having his head back as they're playing the ball and getting physical on the outside. That time it was Jason Avant who did not get his head turned around to track the flight of the ball.
Eagles taking a shot against the Vikings team, Darrell, without their top 3 quarterbacks today. There's Foles on the keeper after the fake to McCoy. And he slides out to the 35-yard line.
And that's the area that I think I've been the most impressed with Nick Foles. I think when you make the change from Michael Vick to Nick Foles, you expect the run game numbers to drop. But it's a read and react situation for Nick Foles, and he's reading what the defensive end, what the linebackers are doing. If he is required now to keep that ball, he's been very smart with it and very productive in his running game.
Sean McCoy told us yesterday in the run game, Nick does enough to keep the defense honest. Foles to the near side, and Chris Polk unable to make the catch. Third down and 11 coming up.
A lot of time for Nick Foles in the pocket here to scan the field. He finally decides to check it down to the outside, and there's that efficiency again. Chris Polk's got to make that catch, advance that for a couple yards, get into a better third down situation.
But instead it is third down and 11. 3 wide receivers. Polk in the backfield. Eagles must get to the 46. As Foles takes off, picks up a first down and much more in Vikings territory as he slides to the Minnesota 44-yard line. Foles gains 21. That's his longest run of the season.
He does a nice job running here, Darrell, but he's got to work on that slide here at the end. His guy's picking up blockers downfield, but oof.
Well, he's going feet first, Tony, so, you know, Minnesota's lucky they didn't get a flag. Harrison Smith could have been flagged for that because he went feet first. You're not allowed to hit him. You're responsible for your own body in that situation.
Harrison Smith, first-round pick a year ago, returns after missing the last 8 games. As the Eagles set up the screen, it is McCoy. McCoy in the open field, finally down at the 20-yard line. Marcus Sherrills made the tackle, a gain of 24 for LaShawn McCoy.
Jason Kelsey on this play, keep your eye on the center. He does a lot of things at the snap of the ball, getting everybody coordinated, but then watch that. One of the things about this, you can't teach anything against his offense. It's too fast. All right, everybody, Jason Kelsey was outstanding on that play on the screen, getting downfield and getting the big block on the chop.
Take our word for it. Take our word for it.
Again, going to the no huddle quickly to the line, and Foles gains 6. Nick Foles with 36 yards on the ground here in the first quarter. On 2nd and 4, it is McCoy, not much.
Well, the last time that Philadelphia played Washington, Nick Foles outrushed Robert Griffin III. So he again, you know, you don't think about it. I mean, Michael Vick, you think of the explosive run, 60 plus, you know, down the field. What a fit for this offense. But Nick Foles is very, very good in his decision making, which allows him to have success in the run game.
You think he has McCoy's franchise record, 217 yards on the ground last week on his mind?
I don't think so.
Now third down and 4. Foles being chased. Down he goes. Jared Allen with the sack. His 8th of the season.
We'll credit the secondary of the Minnesota Vikings because Nick Foles has got time, but he just can't find anybody open, and Jared Allen is relentless. That's going to be a fun battle to watch on the outside, Tony. Jason Peters versus Jared Allen this afternoon.
Yeah, Jared Allen's motor, he just will not stop, and Jason Peters knows that and tries to stay with him as long as he can. Nick Foles has to go and work that pocket to go and give him some help there on the outside.
Alex Henry, 35-yard attempt. Kick is good. So the Eagles put 3 on the board. 125 career sacks for Jared Allen. 9-play, 63-yard drive for the Eagles. Foles gaining 36 of the 63 on the ground. Jared Allen with the sack as the Vikings hold the Eagles to a field goal. Only John Abraham with more sacks than Jared Allen among active players as the Eagles once again keep it away from Patterson. It's Jerome Felton on the return as we head to Los Angeles for a game break. Joel Klatt. Joel.
Kenny, let's head to Tampa Bay. Michael Crabtree, of course, back in the lineup, and Colin Kaepernick dances to his right. Finds Crabtree. Crabtree's first of the season. 7-0 49ers there. Back to Minnesota. Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
All right, thanks, Joel. Matt Castle has started the game 7 for 7. 57-yard touchdown pass to Brett Jennings on the Vikings' last possession. And twice the Eagles have kept the ball away from Cordero Patterson on kickoffs. Off the play fake. Castle going deep once again, and it's Jennings for a Vikings first down at the Eagles' 40-yard line, a 22-yard pass play.
Again, the ball is going to be stretched further down the field. The biggest difference I see with this Vikings offense from years past, I mean, you're going back to when it was Brett Favre and Sidney Rice and Percy Harvin. Well, then all of a sudden you had that run where they didn't have the explosive guys on the outside anymore. Where they're back. Cordero Patterson, Greg Jennings, Jerome Simpson, they're back on the outside, and Matt Castle is a good fit for them.
Castle 8 for 8. That matches his career best at the start of a game. Hand off to Asiata, and he gains a yard down to the 39-yard line. So Matt Castle making his 4th start. Vikings have used 3 different starting quarterbacks this season.
And it's very difficult when you have a team that's going through the year with instability at the quarterback position. It is the most critical position on your team, and Christian Ponder has had opportunities. I think the Vikings feel comfortable knowing what Christian Ponder can do, what he brings to the table. They need to find out about Matt Castle. I don't know if Josh Freeman is going to get another opportunity to play during the course of the year. I think it's going to be more focused on Matt Castle down the stretch.
Ponder started all 16 regular season games last season as the catch is made, and then a big hit is laid on Jerome Simpson by D'Amico Ryan. Simpson hangs on to the football, comes hopping right back up as he gains 19 and signals first down.
Yeah, and let's see if there needed to be a flag on this one on D'Amico Ryan's. Where is that contact initiated? Looks like it's a shoulder to shoulder, so that's a clean hit under the rules today from that angle. Let's see from this. This is a little bit better. Yep, he's shoulder to shoulder right there. So a good targeting job by D'Amico Ryan's on that big hit.
He popped up, but he almost looked like he just collapsed right after that. They're checking him out on the sideline. We'll keep you up to date on that one.
Hey, Mike's on 9. 4 down, 4 down.
Castle now 9 for 9 for 168 yards. Asiata cuts it back inside. Gain of 3 down to the Eagles 17. Kurt Coleman made the tackle. Half-minute remaining. First quarter here in Minneapolis with the Vikings leading 7-3.
Hey, Tony, I know that you take the field as a defender wanting to stop the run, but in a situation like this, without Adrian Peterson, without Toby Gerhart, and Matt Asiata being the guy running the football, do you adjust that and now worry about the pass game?
No, you know what? I don't think you worry about the run as much, especially the way kind of runner that he is. What they need to do is just go and rush the passer, get upfield, get their pass rush going. Right now, they're just giving Matt Castle too much time to look downfield.
Vikings do not have to run this play, and they will not, as the first quarter comes to an end. Terrific start for Castle. He's perfect. 9 for 9 without Adrian Peterson today. Vikings lead by 4. Back in Minneapolis, Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa. Second to last game for the Vikings here at Mall of America Field. Vikings will play outdoors at the University of Minnesota the next 2 seasons. Second down and 7. Bunch formation to the left as we start the second quarter. Castle to the end zone. Pass intended for Patterson. Kerry Williams on the coverage.
Really nice job by Kerry Williams, because this is going to break right in front of him. And it looks like an opportunity for a catch for the touchdown, but watch his timing on the contact. Well done.
Does a nice job of punching the pocket right where the ball is, right between the hands. Separate those hands so he can't get a grip on the ball.
First incompletion for Castle. He started the game 9 for 9.
Hey,
Joined us late. No Adrian Peterson. No Toby Gerhardt.
Jerome Simpson back in also, Kenny.
And Asiata slid out to the right. Pass is caught by Asiata. Makes a nice move and picks up a first down. Needed to get to the 10, and he made that cut just outside the 10-yard line. Took it down to the 9.
I think the thing that, really explains, the value of Matt Asiata in place of Adrian Peterson today is the big Cordero Patterson screen touchdown last week against the Baltimore Ravens. After Toby Gerhardt had the long run and had the hamstring, he jumps in late in the game and he comes out. He's the guy that threw the critical block on that long touchdown run. Always into the game mentally, ready to step in at any second.
Hey, 4 down, 4 down. Watch my 9. Now.
Bunch formation to the right. First and goal from the 9 for the Vikings. Castle looking end zone. He throws. And that pass is intended for Simpson. Again, it's Cary Williams on the coverage.
All right, one of the things that Matt Castle has to learn is when you get in pressure, if you're holding the ball and you got pressure around you, keep your eye on your fullback right here, because sometimes they get lost. It's a lead play and you're considered a blocker, and yeah, they turn him loose from time to time, especially on play action. So if you've got some protection and things are late in your progression through your routes, always remember where that fullback is, because he'll get turned loose out in the flat quite often.
I always keep an eye on my fullback here in the broadcast booth.
Tell him, Kenny.
Watch my 9.
3 receivers set on second and goal. The handoff to Asiata, and he takes it down to the Eagles' 3-yard line.
It's funny because we always talk about the backup quarterback always being a snap away, but you forget about that for every player in the game who plays the backup position. Everybody's one snap away. And for Matt Asiata, also the fact that he's the number 3 guy in the rotation with Toby Gerhardt there going in and out. He probably doesn't expect to get many opportunities, so it's a credit to him with his preparation and his ability to jump in there.
Empty backfield. 3rd and goal, front of the 3. Castle to the end zone. Incomplete.
I didn't understand that play because it looked like they were trying to set some type of screen up, because the defensive line of the Philadelphia Eagles not blocked very hard. I mean, they were free to the quarterback. A couple of guys, Connor Barwin and Fletcher Cox, were right in Matt Castle's lap. Didn't have the time to let this route develop.
Both Jerome Simpson and Joe Webb in the vicinity. So here is Walsh, who missed a 55-yarder earlier. This will be a 21-yard attempt. Walsh's kick is good. So the Vikings extend to a 7-point lead.
Game is sponsored by the all-new 2014 Chevy Silverado, strong for all the roads ahead.
Welcome back with the Vikings leading the Eagles 10-3. 10-play, 59-yard drive. 21-yard field goal by Walsh. Brandon Boykin will take a knee. Eagles will start from their 20. Friday, January 3rd, one of the best bowl games of the year will be on Fox. 13th ranked Oklahoma State will take on number 8 Missouri, the AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic. Friday, January 3rd, 7:30 Eastern, only on Fox.
That is a nice matchup. Congratulations to Missouri. What a nice year they had.
Look forward to the Cotton Bowl. From Arlington, Texas. Foles, native of Austin, Texas, hands it off to Sean McCoy. Takes it out to the 22-yard line. Marcus Sanford made the tackle. McCoy coming off the franchise record-setting game in the snow last Sunday.
Very, very impressive in what he did last week. Tony touched on a little bit that running style, but the great thing about here, you're going to have a lot of opportunities in the run game, so just stay patient.
Falls to the outside on 2nd and 8. Pass incomplete. He was looking for Deshaun Jackson.
And one of the interesting things, because the entire playbook is usually open to Philadelphia's offense on every snap, not so much situationally driven, but really kind of the concepts in this offense. They'll run in this situation at 3rd and 9. They're not afraid to.
Absolutely. That's one thing that really confuses you as a defensive lineman. There's no real pattern to what they do, so you can't really get a good feel.
Ball's looking to throw. Eagles must get to the 30. And they do. It's Jackson. Sean Jackson to the 39-yard line. And Foles took a hit from Audie Cole. 17-yard pass play.
Yeah, but watch him stand in there in the pocket, knowing he's going to take that hit and deliver the pass. Let's go back to Mike Martz, and he had his list of things that were important for the quarterback position. Courage in the pocket was his biggest characteristic that he wanted to see from his quarterbacks.
Talk about matchups. Deshaun Jackson lined up in the backfield to the right of Foles. Foles fakes the inside handoff to McCoy, and then it's Jackson who started the play in the backfield, and he makes the catch in Vikings territory for a gain of 20.
And if you're going to match up with Deshaun Jackson, how are you going to defend him coming out of the backfield? A lot of times you get lost in there trying to fight through everybody.
They're the matchups that we talk about that Chip Kelly looks for on every play.
Ball's on 1st down, going deep for Riley Cooper. And he was out of bounds. Cooper unable to make the catch and come down in bounds. Buddy Horton, the field judge, right there to make the call.
Riley Cooper was behind Sean Prater, though.
That left foot just steps on the white line.
There it is. 2nd foot comes down out of bounds.
Nice placement by Foles on that, though, Darryl.
Now 2nd and 10. 3 wide receivers set. From the 41. Breaking free is Brad Smith, who picks up another Eagles 1st down, the former New York Jet. And Buffalo Bill, it's his 2nd catch of the season, a gain of 14.
And everything looks so similar that you're as a defender, you're looking at that, and it's the play action off the zone read, and now you get really what this offense is at its foundation is somebody in a one-on-one situation in space to make a play.
From the 27-yard line on 1st down. Foles complete to the tight end, Ertz. Tackle is made at the 23-yard line by Cole. It's a gain of 4 for Zach Ertz, a rookie out of Stanford.
And there's so many teams that choose to play the Philadelphia Eagles in heavy man-to-man situations, because if you play zone, that allows all those perimeter screens to happen because of the style of defense. So you get a lot of these one-on-one matchups where if you can get the ball to your receiver with the ability to make a move or a play in space, he's got an opportunity for a big play.
2nd down and 6. Polk in the backfield. Foles steps up, takes off, and is down at the 18-yard line. So it will be 3rd down and 1 as Foles scrambles for 5.
Watching this Eagles sideline, all the coaches giving hand signals for what the formation is, what personnel they have out there. Very entertaining over there.
Check out this formation with the receivers both top and bottom of the screen.
On 3rd and 1.
It is Foles. Ball comes loose. And it's picked up by McCoy, but Foles was ruled down short of the 1st.
Well, Jared Allen plays this very well. He's going to be the key to it. He slides down, but then he's holding his position. We've talked about the good decisions by Nick Foles right there. That might have been an opportunity to slide that ball inside to LaShawn McCoy on the give.
Going for it on 4th and 1. I like this decision right here.
On 4th and 1, it's an end around and a double end around, picking up a 1st touchdown, but there are 2 penalty markers back at the 20-yard line.
Well, Nick Foles went low going back towards his end zone, so it's the peel back. What a gutsy call by Chip Kelly. Watch Nick Foles. He's going to be the guilty party. You know, he's just trying to do his part. He's trying to give his teammate an opportunity. So to seal, as
personal foul, unnecessary roughness, peel back block, number 9 of the offense, blocking a player low, going back toward his own goal line. That's a 15-yard penalty. It'll be 4th down.
You can see it right there as Nick Foles came into the camera.
The peel back block on Aaron Henderson. How often is a quarterback called for a personal foul?
With a peel back block, not very often. I'm sure that's a small list. But again, it's just knowing the rule, and you know that's something with experience that Nick Foles will know. All he's got to do is kind of stay up and get in the way in that situation. He's going to do the same thing.
So here is Alex Henry out to attempt a 51-yarder. His career long is 51. The season long 48 from the left hash. Henry from 51 yards out in the dome. It is good. So he matches his career long, cutting the Vikings lead to 4. Foles committed the personal foul, took the touchdown off the board. Henry matching his career long with a 51-yard field goal. And Goose, twice today we have seen the Eagles keep the ball out of the hands of Patterson on kickoffs.
Yeah, you know what? That's really resulted in some, opportunities to score some points. They really got to go. Alex Henry, I think, got to go and maybe kick away from Patterson. But, those little, small kicks there just puts this team in too good a field position. Here's another one on the 20.
Another short kick. And it's taken out to the 24-yard line by Chase Ford. On those previous 2 kickoffs, Vikings started at the 25 and then the 38. Once again, ball will be placed at the 25-yard line.
Yeah, it's a tough thing for this defense to start them on a short field where they only got to get 40, 50 yards, and then they're in field goal range. It's very frustrating.
They're 2 for 3, though. It was the last one that really kind of put them in that bad spot at the 38. But that's not bad, Tony. That's well executed right there. And that was with Cordero Patterson trying to get up into that area of the field where Alex Henry's been kicking it.
Patterson leading the NFL in kickoff return average, over 33 yards per return, and a pair of touchdowns on opening kickoffs this season. On first down, it's Asiata who gains 6 out to the 31. Trent Cole, the tackle.
Tony, I thought it was funny talking to D'Amico Ryans, and he talked to us about the biggest thing that this Eagles defense had to learn was patience, and you don't hear that a lot from a defensive philosophy. You would think that it's more aggressive and getting, across the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, we have those, 2 gaps up front, those defensive linemen. You got to go and let your holes form for linebackers. Be patient and wait for the running back to go and, hit him so that you can go in there and clean it up.
Greg Jennings picks up a first down out to the 37-yard line. 5 yards from Castle to Jennings.
One thing that this defensive line up front, we've seen them rush 4, we've seen them rush 5. The one thing I'm not seeing them do is really get upfield. They're on the line of scrimmage, and I got to give credit to that, Vikings offensive line for doing a great job, but they need to start putting some pressure on Matt Castle, force him into some bad throws if they want to get something done today.
From the 37 on first down, it is Asiata. Fletcher Cox the tackle, no gain. Eagles at 8-5, first place in the NFC East. They've won 5 straight, longest current streak in the National Football League. Dallas Cowboys will host Green Bay later today on Fox. Cowboys perfect in the division, a game behind the Eagles, and it will be the Cowboys and the Eagles in the regular season finale 2 weeks from today.
Yeah, but can Dallas continue to keep pace with Philadelphia right now and make that last game meaningful? They've got to take care of business against the Packers and the Redskins.
Castle to Jennings, and Castle took a hard hit from Benny Logan.
Yeah, Benny Logan runs a little game here on the outside. You can watch him loop around at the top of your screen. And they bring everybody down, and Matt Castle, like Darryl said, stands in there and makes a nice throw.
Jennings made the catch. It's his 6th reception. Greg Jennings over 100 yards in the first half. Caught the 57-yard touchdown back in the first quarter. First 100-yard game this season for Jennings. DeMarcus Webb, extra blocker. 3rd down and 1. Asiata looks to have a Vikings first down. Out across the 47.
Nice little stutter by Matt Asiata on that one. Looked like he was going to break back to the right side and then stayed back into the left behind his offensive lineman. You watch the little stutter. Looks like he's going to bring it back to the right-hand side. Kind of sells it. Now he's trying to fool that linebacker just as much. You can influence them. They're watching your eyes. Sometimes you're setting up your blockers up front with those little stutter moves. Sometimes you're trying to move that linebacker out of your running lane.
New set of downs for the Vikings. Castle throws it away. And we will head to Los Angeles for a game break with Joel Klatt. Joel?
Kenny, let's go out to Cleveland. Jay Cutler already 1 interception on the day. This time looking for Brandon Marshall, just a bit overthrown. And Tayshawn Gibson is there for the interception. He heads back the other way, 44 yards to pay dirt. That's a pick 6. 10-3 Cleveland, back to Minnesota. Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
Well, we've talked about the quarterback situation here in Minnesota. Well, you're just opening the door for a big discussion down there in Chicago right now, the way that game is going.
Jay Cutler returning for the Bears today after backup Josh McCown did a terrific job in Cutler's absence. As Castle fires downfield and the pass is behind the intended receiver Jennings. Bradley Fletcher with Greg Jennings step for step.
Well, when you talk about quarterbacks in and out of the lineup, they don't have the opportunity to develop that chemistry, and that looked like a miscommunication between Matt Castle and Greg Jennings.
Now the Vikings face 3rd down and 10. Vikings with a 10-6 lead under 6 minutes remaining, second quarter. Three wide receivers and Trent Cole. You talk about unabated. There's a prime example.
Neutral zone infraction, number 58, defense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
He got off quick.
Yeah, he's looking at something down inside. I don't know if it's the hand of the center or something. He's got a little bit of a key, but not always 100% as a defensive lineman. Offensive linemen, they study themselves and find out what they're doing and do little fakes once in a while.
You aren't always right, Tony?
Not every time, 99%.
3rd down and 5. Castle moving to his right and now takes off. Doing his best Nick Foles impersonation. Matt Castle picks up the Vikings first down.
Offense doing a good job, Darryl, just keeping this chain going, huh?
Yeah. Kenny, Nick Foles is now the benchmark for scrambling quarterbacks.
He is today. Gain of 12 for Castle.
Well, he knows he has an opportunity here. Matt Castle has an opportunity to really establish himself as the favorite going into next season as the starter, getting all the opportunities in OTAs and training camps. So he understands how important these next few games are for him.
From the 37, off the play fake, Castle steps up. And he is down at the 35-yard line, pickup of 2.
Positive, though, important in that situation. 2nd and 8 versus 2nd and 13, 14 yards. You don't have your big guns behind you in the running game. You've got to really be on point today with all your details and staying ahead in your down and distance.
Tenth play of the drive for the Vikings. They've done a terrific job keeping the Eagles offense off the field. Play action. Castle to the near side. It's Jennings. His 7th reception. Fletcher the tackle. Jennings to the 30-yard line, so it will be 3rd down and 3.
I think Benny Logan got Matt Castle again. See what happens right here at the end. Coming in late. You see, he's got that arm extended. That's one of the really scary things, is when that quarterback is following through right as the defender is arriving. Keep our eye on Matt Castle and see if that contact had anything to do with his ability to throw the ball.
Eddie Logan, the rookie third-round pick out of LSU. On third down and 3, the handoff to Patterson, so they get the ball into Patterson's hands, and he reaches, hoping to pick up the first down. It will depend on the spot.
Well, when you're down your top 2 running backs, get one of your explosive guys into the backfield.
And Patterson did pick up the first.
Really heads-up play for a young guy here on the outside. Now, that's one of the things that they talked about with Cordero Patterson is, 1 year at Tennessee, what's his football IQ like when you talk about, the rigors of the NFL playbook and, the different situation shows you right there that he's a quick learner.
First and 10 from the 26-yard line of Philadelphia. As Castle hands it off to Asiata, who gains a couple down to the Eagles 24 as we approach 3 minutes remaining in this second quarter, and the Eagles have had the ball, Darryl, for under 10 minutes.
Well, credit that to the Minnesota Vikings offense right here. And just a tremendous job of really staying positive, staying ahead of the chains, which was going to be very critical. Chip Kelly, his offense is not having the opportunity to get on the field and show their explosive capabilities.
Yeah, look at those times right there, wearing that defense down for Philadelphia.
And that defense has been on the field a ton this year.
Toss to Patterson, looking to throw. Now he comes back the other way. And Patterson is inside the 20. He hurdles for a first down. Vikings say you keep it out of Patterson's hands on kickoffs. We'll show you on offense.
We'll find a way to get it to him. We don't have to throw it to him. We'll hand it to him. The great thing here is this is another great decision. We just talked about him not having a lot of experience, playing high-level football, but that play is shut down. The Eagles do a great job because he wanted to throw that ball. The coverage is there. Now, this is the scary part. I tell you what, this guy, in the open field, downhill, big and fast.
2-minute warning in Minneapolis. Vikings on the move, leading by 4.
Today's game is sponsored by Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. Visa, turning football fantasies into reality.
So the Vikings have lost their last 5 games without Adrian Peterson in the lineup. Vikings with a 4-point lead. And first and 10 from the Eagles, 12-yard line.
He just feels like he's letting his team down if he's not out on the field. They're a different team when he's not in there, but they're doing a heck of a job this afternoon with that situation.
From the 12 on first down, pass is caught by Asiata. Asiata gains 5 down to the Eagles 7.
Second time here in the red zone here in the first half that we've had Matt Asiata outside, just kind of left on his own, and Matt Castle gets it to him quick for some nice positive yards on a first down.
Both teams with all 3 timeouts. Second down and 5.
Double sword, double sword.
Asiata again split wide to the left. Castle looking his way, and it's incomplete off his hand, so a 3rd and 5 upcoming.
If it works, Dal, why not go back to the well, right?
I don't know about back-to-back, though.
Same exact play, right after each other. Asiata, he likes being out there with those little guys. I'll tell you what, that 44 reminds me of fullback. Big numbers.
He's one of those tweeners. He probably do a little bit of both.
He is. He's a thick guy, runs with a lot of power.
This will be the 16th play of the drive, longest of the season for the Vikings. 3rd down and 5. Castle to the end zone, off the hand of Simpson, and there is a late flag thrown. Not by the official closest to the play.
Yeah, and that's Kurt Coleman's point. He's asking the back judge why he overruled.
Pass interference, number 24, defense. Foul occurred in the end zone. First down at the 1-yard line.
I don't know, Darryl. I didn't see much touch on this play.
Now, most of the contact was after the ball was beyond the catch. So the call's not made by the field judge in that situation. It was actually passed by, and the back judge picked it up. So Bill Smith was actually the one who called the play, you know, from in the center of the field at the back of the end zone.
And Buddy Horton, number 82, is right there. Didn't feel. They got to call. Be consistent. That's all they got to do. We talk about it every week. These officials just got to be consistent with how they're calling pass interference.
So now 1st and goal from the 1. Vikings send in number 60, Jeff Baca, as an extra blocker. This is Asiata, and he is in for a Vikings touchdown. Adrian Peterson approves. It's the first touchdown of Matt Asiata's NFL career.
Some tough slotting in there right there. Jerome Felton leading on Michael Kendricks, and then Benny Logan has played an outstanding first half here. We've seen him with a couple of pressures on the quarterback and almost an opportunity to stop Matt Asiata short on that touchdown.
Vikings have scored on their last 3 possessions. Touchdowns and a field goal. Walsh, the extra point. Minnesota now leads by 11. Asiata spins into the Eagles' end zone.
Game is sponsored by the new Windows. One experience for everything in your life.
Go Vikings!
Minnesota Vikings without Adrian Peterson lead the Eagles 17-6. Key pass interference call in the end zone leading to the Asiata touchdown. A 16-play drive. Vikings had the ball for nearly 8 minutes.
A critical penalty there because you're looking at the potential for a field goal. They already missed an opportunity on their opening drive when Blair Walsh missed the long field goal.
So the Eagles with all 3 timeouts and 66 seconds on the clock as Peterson congratulates his understudy. A minute 6 remaining, second quarter. Eagles will start from their 20-yard line with all 3 timeouts, trailing by 11. As Jared Allen gets the crowd fired up. McCoy split wide to the left. Lined up behind Riley Cooper. Foles fires on first down, and the pass is short. Intended for Jackson.
Eagles offense just not in sync here in the first half.
Well, they got so much time in between possessions. The defense is worn out on the sideline right now. They got to get something going to start moving these chains a little.
Only 6 first downs, 135 yards for the Eagles as Riley Cooper makes the catch. His second of the game out to the 27 for a gain of 7. Third down and 3, 45 seconds on the clock. Foles fakes the handoff to McCoy, and the rolling catch is made by Cooper. So Riley Cooper picks up a first down, gain of 10, and now the Eagles use their first timeout. So we will send it to Kurt Menefee. What's coming up, Kurt, on the Visa Halftime Report?
Audio booth here at Fox. And coming up on the Visa Halftime, a key AFC East game between the Patriots and the Dolphins, plus those other guys, will join me on the Visa Halftime. Oh, I wonder what this button is. Oops.
Keep Kurt out of the audio booth.
Isn't that the second time this year he shut the whole thing down?
At least.
Yeah, it was actually, any of those guys. I think it was Terry and Jimmy last time.
Stick to what you do best. Eagles now with 2 timeouts from their 37. As Foles steps up, moves to his right, throws, and it's Deshaun Jackson at the Vikings 43. 20 yards from Foles to Jackson, and the Eagles use their second timeout. The Eagles offense that has been on the field less than 10 minutes, and on the other side, when you talk about the Eagles defense, Vikings have had 3 drives of at least 10 plays today.
And that's been the surprising thing for me today, because I thought the Eagles defense was really playing well over the last 5 or 6 games. And you look at what's happened today, and that has not been the case. No Adrian Peterson, no Toby Gerhardt. Matt Castle getting his 4th start of the year. He's been with 3 different teams throughout his NFL career. So this is an offense that's trying to find their way to try to overcome a ton of challenges today, and yet they're performing very, very well against a defense that I thought was playing well.
Jackson again lined up in the backfield, and it's Jackson who makes the catch out of bounds at the 36-yard line. Gain of 6 to Sean Jackson with his team-leading 4th reception. So down to 22 seconds. Eagles need about 5 more yards to get into field goal range for Alex Henry. They have 1 timeout remaining. On 2nd down and 4. Foles can't find anyone downfield. And he fires it out of bounds. Again, it was Jared Allen leading a trio of Vikings with the pressure on Nick Foles.
He showed some really good arm strength here in decision-making on this drive. There was a nice play a couple snaps ago where he's moving to his right, throws back into the middle of the field. This one here, just smart, being able to get that ball up and away from anybody and avoid the sack or the intentional grounding.
Allen already has a sack today. Now 3rd down and 4. Ball spins. Catch is made by McCoy, and he picks up a 1st down. And LaShawn McCoy is finally out of bounds inside the Vikings 15. Just 5 seconds remaining as McCoy gains 22.
Watch how close number 96, Brian Robinson, is to stopping this play. Spins out, very athletic. He's coming up, and there's the separation right there. Also, Audie Cole with an opportunity to stop that play further down the field. But there's that strength and that power that Tony talked about with LaShawn McCoy.
But the clock wound all the way down to 5, so the Eagles send out the field goal unit. 33-yard attempt from the right hash. Henry's kick is good. So the Eagles put points on the board. Still 1 second, and now the clock runs down. So the first half comes to an end with Leslie Frazier's Vikings leading the Philadelphia Eagles. Time now for the Visa halftime report. Take it away, Kurt. We get set for the second half here in Minneapolis. Vikings without Adrian Peterson leading the Eagles 17-9. And Darryl, this Eagles team hottest in the NFL, as you mentioned earlier, 5 straight wins. Held to just 3 field goals in the first half.
Yeah, wanting to be able to take control of the NFC East, and with Adrian Peterson out and Toby Gerhardt out and Matt Castle, Minnesota's still trying to figure out what their quarterback situation is down the stretch. I would have expected a better performance from Philadelphia in the first half. Now, you have to remember, last week against Detroit, they struggled a little bit in those conditions and then exploded in the 4th quarter.
Where are you going, Darryl?
I thought we were clear.
I know you're excited about following your favorite team all season long on iTunes.com/NFL.
Had to get up here before the toe meets the leather, Kenny.
I told you I always keep my eye on my fullback.
All football all the time, Darryl.
Well, the Eagles did win the toss. Deferred at the start of the game, so they will get the ball first. Boykin awaiting Walsh's kickoff. Eagles will start from the 20, trailing by 8, Deuce.
Not surprising what both of these coaches said. Chip Kelly, I asked him about, what is he going to tell his team? What does he need to do in the second half? He says, our defense has got to get us the ball back. We need more possessions. We got to get our offense and put drives together. We need to go and work harder on offense. And also I asked him about the kickoffs, about putting the other team in good field position. He said, our main concern is keeping the ball away from Patterson. He's too dangerous of a guy to keep the ball in his hands. That's why we're kicking away from him. And when I talked to Leslie Frazier, he wants to do the complete opposite. He wants to keep possession of the ball, keep the chains moving, get the first downs, keep the ball out of the Philadelphia Eagles' hands.
2-to-1 ratio, time of possession in the first half, as Foles hits McCoy for a gain of 6.
And really an emphasis on your first down production to get this offense in sync. And maybe one of the reasons when you look at these stats, the time of possession, again, one of the bigger things that we have been talking about. But, on pace for total yards at 201, that puts them right around their 400-yard total. So, they've just got to take advantage of these possessions. They become at a premium here in the game today.
2nd down and 4. Foles, hands in the pocket, now backpedals. Still can't find anyone. Down he goes. Brian Robinson now with a sack in 5 consecutive games.
Young quarterback mistake there, Dal. When you have that kind of pressure on you and you don't have any open receivers downfield, you need to go and get rid of the ball, go to the next down.
Yeah, I agree, Tony. We've seen him make good decisions through the first half in those situations where he's gotten rid of the ball.
Yeah, you can't force things and try to make things happen that aren't there.
Loss of 12 on the Vikings' 2nd sack today. Now 3rd down and 16. Foles steps up and throws. Pass out of bounds. He was looking for Jason Avant. So the Eagles, just like in the first half, go 3 and out on their first drive here in the second half.
Yeah, and now the second piece to that puzzle comes up right here. Well, you've got Cordero Patterson out as the punt returner, so now you got to keep the ball away from him. We heard Chip Kelly say that, but the big emphasis here in the second half is going to be Philadelphia's defense. What did they do now on that opening possession here in the second half?
Well, the Vikings send 2 return men deep, and a fair catch is called for at the 48-yard line by Patterson. The sack by Robinson leading to the punt, and the great field position for Minnesota.
This game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram.
Wouldn't you love to hit the ice here in Minneapolis?
No, you would.
I can't believe you ran Tony into the boards. You could have hurt one of the little kids there when we were out there on Saturday.
And
Tony
he travels with his skates.
Tony cannot catch me on the ice, I guarantee.
No way. No way.
You can do this.
From the 48-yard line on 1st down, Asiata breaks free of the first attempted tackle, gains 2. Out to midfield, Matt Asiata for the injured Adrian Peterson and Toby Gerhart today. Scored his first career touchdown late in the second quarter.
And has been effective. This offense has been very efficient. They've been able to stay ahead of the chains, down and distance-wise, keep that playbook open. Leslie Frazier, he and Bill Musgrave, a nice plan today, missing Adrian Peterson and Toby Gerhart in their running game.
Vikings gained 257 yards in the first half. Castle very efficient, 14 of 20. Castle going deep for Jarius Wright, and Wright makes the catch. A spectacular catch by Wright with Fletcher all over him. It is a 42-yard completion.
Matt Castle will give you the opportunity to make a play in a one-on-one situation, and it's not just one person. If you get that role and that opportunity, he's going to give you a shot. Jarius Wright does a heck of a job right there. Bradley Fletcher is in good position. Look at his hand. His hand is right in there.
I'll tell you what, this is a completely different team than we're used to seeing here in Minnesota with a deep ball threat over and over again.
And Howie Long talked about that at halftime on the Visa halftime report. The stability at the quarterback position with Castle making the start for the Vikings. And now a timeout is taken by the Vikings. Their first. Well, only one show makes dreams come true and discovers superstars. American Idol returns this January with Jennifer Lopez, Keith Urban, and Harry Connick Jr. American Idol, the search for a superstar, begins this January on Fox.
Looking forward to Harry Connick Jr. on the show. I've enjoyed him as a musician and as an actor.
And he enjoys watching his hometown New Orleans Saints. Saints can clinch a playoff berth today. Following the timeout, 1st and goal from the 8 for the Vikings, who lead by 8. 3 wide receivers. Asiata lined up in the backfield to the right of Castle. The fake toss, and now the shovel pass. Passiata down to the 6.
Yeah, sometimes you get a little bit too tricky down here in the red zone. And sometimes it's just best to line up and go with your bread and butter plays.
Yeah, that defensive line must have known, because they haven't been getting pressure all day. All of a sudden, now they're all upfield. Something's got to go and make you sit down on that play.
Here's Bill Musgrave, Vikings offensive coordinator. 2nd and goal from the 6. As Castle takes off to the end zone, touchdown.
There is absolutely nobody behind the defensive line, not only in the middle of the field, but nobody at the linebacker level. I don't know if that was a called quarterback draw. It sure appeared to be, or that's just Matt Castle. There's absolutely nobody there when he breaks through the defensive line.
Castle's 5th career rushing touchdown. 3 with the Patriots, 1 as a Kansas City Chief. His first as a Viking. Minnesota extends to a 15-point lead over the first-place Philadelphia Eagles. Vikings have now scored on their last 4 possessions. The key play, that 42-yard reception on the beautiful throw down the near sideline by Castle to Jarius Wright.
They continue to come out in the second half. You know that Philadelphia's defense is going to be geared up to shut them down, and that offense comes out and sends a message on their opening half of the second, or opening possession of the second half.
Nick Foles and the Eagles will start from their 20. This holiday season is part of the league's commitment to celebrate and honor alumni players. NFL Homecoming spotlights the return of legends to stadiums across the country, and the fans whose unwavering support make stadiums feel just like home. So many former Viking greats on hand, honored at halftime as the Vikings announced the All Mall of America field team. We saw Dante Culpepper, Steve Hutchinson,
Chris Dolman,
among many, many other former Minnesota Viking greats.
Pit Panther Chris Nolan right there.
Oh, he was a handful.
Oof. As was Tony Siragusa, as was LaShawn McCoy. Here's Riley Cooper. Cooper picks up a first down out to the 34-yard line. What a season it has been for the 4th-year receiver out of Florida, Riley Cooper.
Yeah, you lose Jeremy Maclin in the preseason, and then all of a sudden you wonder what's going to happen to this offense, and Riley Cooper has stepped in and just had a really nice, productive season. You see right there his yards per catch, 2nd in the NFL.
Over 19 per reception for Cooper. Falls on first down, and that pass was behind Sean Jackson. Eagles need points. They trail by 15. This is the first time in 10 games the Eagles have allowed more than 21 points. They have gone 9 straight, having allowed 21 or fewer. And Chip Kelly's offense has been out on the field for only 12.5 minutes.
Gotta love those guys on the sideline trying to do the fake signals, the real signals. Hard to tell, though. They're very convincing.
Toss to McCoy. And McCoy spins out to the 40, so it will be 3rd down and 3.
Number 42, Kurt Coleman, just guys give you an update, has been brought in for a hamstring evaluation. He has a questionable return, Kenny.
Thanks, Goose. Coleman, the Eagles safety. Only 26 yards for McCoy today, 217 last week.
But the big thing that only the 5 rushes.
Eagles need to get to the 43 for first down. 3rd down and 3. And Deshaun Jackson is across midfield into Vikings territory.
They worked him out of the backfield again, and it's something that they use when they get him matched up on a strict man-to-man. They did it against Arizona with Patrick Peterson, but here he is coming out of the backfield. Now it's very difficult for Robert Blanton to cover in that situation, because as Deshaun Jackson crosses formation, he's fighting through linebackers, tight ends, releasing down the field. So nice design by Chip Kelly.
5 receptions, and 3 of them have come with Jackson lining up in the backfield. Now Jackson comes in motion. Off the fake to Chris Polk. Foles is going deep for Jackson, and it is picked off. The pass pass is intercepted by the former Eagle, Sean Prater. Stays on his feet. It's Cooper who knocks him down. So Prater, who actually played for the Eagles this season, was released. It's his first start with 3 Viking quarterbacks out of the lineup today, and he comes up with the interception and returns it 30 yards. Prater with the pick. Vikings lead by 15.
This game on Fox is sponsored by Walking with Dinosaurs. Friday, only in theaters.
Nick Foles intercepted for only the second time this season. First game last week against Detroit. First turnover of the game as Marciano gains a couple. Fletcher Cox makes the tackle.
Let's go back and take a look at that now. Deshaun Jackson's going to come in motion right here. Now, I think keep your eye on Andrew Sendejo. This is a 1-free. He's in the middle of the field. So Sean Prater can turn Riley Cooper off to Andrew Sendejo at that point and drop back off onto Deshaun Jackson. Now, this is post-play. Deshaun Jackson very upset right there.
Yeah, it looks like Jason Avant. You know, I thought that Deshaun Jackson could have went and turned into a defender and tried to come back and get that ball back out or even attack the ball a little bit better, but he's going a little crazy here on the sideline.
Yeah, but the good news is, you know, after that discussion, we saw Deshaun Jackson and Jason Avant kind of sit down and clear the air. Now, Chip Kelly getting over there to talk to him as well. It's an emotional game, but you have to be able to maintain those emotions in a positive way. And, you know, Deshaun Jackson, he's one of those very, very emotional players. You just got to get him reeled back in a little bit. Don't let it get you off your game after that play. And there you go. There's the 2 guys that may have been arguing, and we're all patched up, ready to get back out there.
2-2, Rob, go!
3rd down and 9. Vikings must get to the 45. Pass is caught by Jennings as he rolls.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a little short.
Marked down just short. Jennings' 8th catch today, but he looks to be just short of a first down. Watch our yellow line, which is unofficial.
Nice move to get underneath Brandon Boykin there, but stumbles enough where he falls short of that first down marker.
I don't know. I don't think he got touched. I think he got the first down on that.
They've got it spotted short right now, Tony.
Yeah, I know. I see that. Good time to challenge that 4th and 1. That clock running. Take a look at it. Jennings does a great job of going. And
there's your contact.
Yeah, contacted by Boykin.
Oh, yeah.
And knee down, too.
So the Vikings, after scoring on their last 4 possessions, 3 touchdowns and a field goal, will punt for the first time today. It's the Vikings' first 3 and out. So Jeff Locke, a rookie out of UCLA, with Deshaun Jackson back deep for the Eagles. Penalty markers prior to the snap.
False start, number 83, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Rookie out of Florida State, Rodney Smith. And the Eagles still have their defense on the field on 4th and 1, but now following the penalty, they make wholesale changes.
Well, in that situation, for a punt safe, you'll leave your defense on from time to time, and that's just a precaution by the Eagles right there. If Minnesota was thinking about faking that punt, you've got bigger bodies out there.
So now Locke punting from his 30-yard line. Terrific kick. There is a flag. Taken at the 5 by Jackson. And Jackson is down at the 22. 56-yard punt. 17 on the return. Yeah, remember we saw the Eagles send in a whole new personnel group just prior to the punt. Flags were thrown immediately. Walt Anderson talking about it with his crew.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both on the receiving team. Holding number 83 of the receiving team.
That's the coverage team. 83 would have been the coverage team on that one.
No 83 on the Eagles roster.
He was the guy that was in the false start on the previous play.
That was Rodney Smith. Now Byron Boston comes in, the line judge.
Correction, there are fouls on each team. Holding number 83 of the kicking team
That's
and
Smith.
holding number 23 of the receiving team
Patrick Chung.
will determine which option the receiving team wants to elect.
Well, here's Rodney Smith. And that's interesting. That's just on the outside, and here you are on the other side.
Holding number 83 of the kicking team. Holding number 23 of the receiving team. Philadelphia has elected the option to offset the fouls and replay 4th down.
You know what? I was not a fan of either one of those calls. I mean, on the outside, it's so physical. And that's as tightly as I've ever seen play called when you talk about a gunner going up against a defender to cover a punt. And on Robert Smith, I didn't see that one. And then on the other side with Patrick Chung, I didn't see that. I mean, Rodney Smith, I didn't see it. And then with Patrick Chung, I didn't see it.
Penalties offset, so the Vikings will kick it away once again.
Tough thing for Minnesota is you have to kick it again to Deshaun Jackson, who's a pretty darn good punt returner.
And you know he would love to redeem himself following the interception on the pass intended for Jackson. End over end punt. Jackson takes it on one bounce. Wants to make a move. Out of bounds at the 15. Good coverage by the Vikings. A 47-yard kick. Emotional on the sidelines. Eagles back on offense, trailing by 15. Eagles trail by 15. A look at their second half possessions, a 3 and out, and the interception thrown by Foles. Eagles, who did not score any of their 34 points last week against Detroit on kicks. No extra points, no field goals. Have all of their points via field goals today. They have not reached the end zone. Foles with loads of time. And now he fires, incomplete, intended for DeMaurice Johnson.
Now, we have got to credit Minnesota's defense. This Eagles offense is not stalling just because they're having issues. This defense is really mixing up their coverages very well. They're doing a lot of different things. I think they're kind of one step ahead of Philadelphia right now, where Philadelphia, who's been played predominantly in man defense the majority of the season, is seeing quite a bit of zone today. And that, I think, is impacting some of the decisions by Nick Foles.
Midway through the third quarter. 15-point Vikings lead over the top for the tight end Ertz for a gain of 9 as we check in once again with Kurt Menefee. Kurt.
All right, the Bears and Browns keep going back and forth. This is Cleveland tying it up. Edwin Baker, his first NFL game, his first NFL touchdown. A 2-yard score. It's all even at 17 midway through the third. Kitty loose and goose.
All right, thanks, Kurt. Third down and 1 for the Eagles. They keep it on the ground. The toss to McCoy, who attempts to turn the corner. And it does not look like he got there. Harrison Smith, playing for the first time in over 2 months, makes the tackle.
And let me tell you, there is a difference in this defense without Harrison Smith. Watch this play. Watch him find his way through there. Get just enough of LaShawn McCoy. That ball is close to the 25-yard line. Wow, look at this call by Chip Kelly on 4th.
4th and 1. Chip Kelly leaves his offense on the field. It is McCoy. Down right around the 25-yard line. It will depend on the spot. Eagles going for it on 4th and 1.
Here we go, 4th down. Trying to get inside. The helmet was beyond the 25-yard line, but I don't think the ball did.
Hard to see with all those bodies right there.
Just short.
Well, we've talked about Chip Kelly and his non-traditional style of his game plan, his philosophy, and there's an example right there. I mean, 4th and short inside your 25 at this stage of the game. I mean, you've got over 6 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter.
And we talked about the Eagles giving the Vikings some short fields in the first half on kickoffs to keep it away from Patterson, but talk about a short field. Vikings take over on the Eagles' 24-yard line.
And a decision like that is usually based, we got a challenge flag out.
Now, you do not often see these rulings overturned because it's so hard to see exactly where the football is.
And it's a two-part equation. It has to be a different spot, but you also have to get the first down.
The ruling on the field that the runner was short of the line of game.
It's worth the gamble. So Walt Anderson will take a look at it. Question is, where is the ball? Chip Kelly challenging the last play. Here comes Walt Anderson. It was not ruled a first down on the field.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands as called. Philadelphia will be charged with its first timeout of the second half.
Mike Pereira with us in Los Angeles. Mike, on those plays, so hard to see the football, right?
Yeah, I think you can never really reverse it unless you see the ball. If you can't see the ball, if you watch here, I could make a case that it might be a first down, but you'd have to see the ball and get to the line. And without seeing it, they're going to leave it the way it is.
All right, thanks, Mike. So the Vikings take over at the Eagles' 24.
And again, in a situation like that where you roll the dice and you become aggressive in your play calling, it's based on your defense playing well early on, and they're going to be able to hold Minnesota to a field goal right here. Philadelphia's defense has struggled a little bit this afternoon.
Off the play fake, Castle fires, intended for Jerome Simpson.
I mean, huge for Philadelphia's defense to hold the Vikings to a field goal attempt in this situation. At worst case scenario, it's 27-9 coming out of this transition.
And even if you hold them to a field goal, it would still become a 3-score game. Eagles winners of 5 straight, first place in the NFC East. Huge game later. America's Game of the Week on Fox, Cowboys and Packers. On second down, play action again. Castle down. D'Amico Ryans coming through. It's his 4th sack of the season.
Looks like we got 2 linebackers coming right into the A-gaps. Michael Kendricks and D'Amico Ryans on the cross blitz. Matt Asiata picks up 1, but they can't get D'Amico Ryans. Now Matt Castle almost came out of that one.
Yeah, Ryans hits him just enough to go and get his knee down on the ground, but a nice job by them twisting after they come through the line of scrimmage and making it, hard.
And that's a key loss of 6 as far as a potential field goal is concerned if the Vikings do not gain any yards here. Line of scrimmage down to 31. As Castle throws, and the catch is made by Jarius Wright. He will not pick up a first down, but he does gain 11, so it becomes a 38-yard attempt instead of a 49-yarder.
And you're going to play a little bit softer in this situation. The last thing you want to do is give up a big play for the first down in a 3rd and long down near your red zone. So they're a little bit softer, and then they're just going to rally up and make that tackle.
So here is Walsh from the left hash. Locke places it down, 38-yard kick, and it is good. So it is now a 3-score game here in Minneapolis. Vikings by 18.
Been a tough afternoon for Nick Foles, who is on a roll. coming into this game, but credit the Minnesota Vikings defense mixing up some coverages, and we haven't seen Nick Foles play like this since going back to Dallas.
And don't forget also that Vikings defense, 2 of their starting cornerbacks out, Josh Robinson and Chris Cook.
Xavier Rhodes, they're, another guy, A.J. Jefferson is gone. I mean, 4 of their top corners are out of the lineup.
Unbelievable. Playing extremely well.
Nick Foles, who had a tremendous month of November, highest all-time passer rating in 1 month in league history, named the NFC Offensive Player of the Month, threw 19 touchdowns before his first interception. But an up-and-down afternoon today here in Minneapolis. Boykin on the return. Brandon Boykin takes it out to the 30-yard line. Ball came loose. And it certainly appears as if he was ruled down, and that is the case.
Hey, beer! Hey, beer! Hey, buddy, beer! Hey, get a bit of hey!
Boykin down, then the ball comes out. So it will be Eagles football from their own 30-yard line.
Looks like Boykin is still down right now. Landed right on his shoulder and head, and he came down trying to get a couple extra yards.
Boykin was at the bottom of the pile, and he'll be checked out by the Eagles medical staff.
Take a look at it right here. Running into a pack, gets his legs cut out right there, and lands right on his head and his shoulder at the same time. And
you've got all the body weight of Robert Blanton on top of you.
And then the ball comes out, and everybody jumps on the pile, and he has all that other weight on him.
So with 4:38 remaining in the third quarter, Vikings leading by 18. They continue to work on Boykin in his second season out of Georgia. Won the Paul Hornung Award as the most versatile player in the nation. 4th round pick by the Eagles last year.
Not a big guy right there, 5'10" with 185. All them guys are laying on top of him.
We will head to Los Angeles for a game break. Here's Kurt.
Well, the Cleveland Browns have 2 defensive touchdowns against the Bears today. This one, a strip of Martellus Bennett. The tight end fumbles. T.J. Ward scoops it up, takes it 52 yards for the touchdown. And it's a 24-17 Brown lead as they try to pull the upset over a Bears team that needs to keep on winning to keep their playoff hopes going. Kenny Moose and Goose.
So that is good news for the Detroit Lions, who will host Baltimore tomorrow night. Here in Minneapolis, Leslie Frazier's club, just 3 wins, but they have lost a number of close games. 4 losses in the final minute without Adrian Peterson today, no Toby Gerhart, yet they lead the first place Eagles by 18.
And we talked about the ability of the Minnesota Vikings to push this game late into the 4th quarter and still have an opportunity to win the game. I don't think any of us expected this in the 3rd quarter, and there's some great news with Brandon Boykin getting up and heading back to the sideline when somebody's down that long. Always some concern for their health and well-being. But it's a crazy NFL this season. To see Philadelphia, the hottest team in the NFL over the last 5 weeks, struggling here today, to see Chicago absolutely dismantle Dallas last Monday night and struggling against Cleveland. I mean, it's so important week to week to be able to come out and play well.
And now the Eagles start from their 30-yard line. Off the play fake. Foles looking for Avant. And the pass sails a bit high. 2nd and 10 upcoming.
The other games that we've had, the Philadelphia Eagles, the way that they've defended them is with a lot of man coverage because they were concerned about the quick screens to the outside. Minnesota has played more zone than I've seen the Giants play against them than Arizona play them when we had them. So you wonder if that is something that has got this offense out of sync a little bit.
Second and 10. McCoy motions to the right. Foles a bit low, looking for Cooper. Just look out of sync.
Yeah, Foles is just not putting the ball where it needs to be right now. I don't know if he's rushing it or trying to get something, forcing it in there. Doesn't know when he's down by 18.
Third down and 10. The Eagles must get to the 40 for a first down. Foles moving left. And the pass is caught by Avant. So Jason Avant quiets the crowd, picks up an Eagles first down, a gain of 12.
And we have to go back to what Tony said. Chris Cook is not in the lineup. Josh Robinson's not in the lineup. Xavier Rhodes is not in the lineup. Those are your top three corners. So you're forced to play differently. You're not going to be able to match up Philadelphia skill players in man-to-man the entire game with backed-up corners.
Rolls to the outside. It is Deshaun Jackson who makes the catch at the Minnesota 42, a 16-yard reception. Nice catch with Marcus Sherrills defending. Got both feet in. And now the delayed handoff to McCoy up the middle. And LaShawn McCoy has another Eagles first down to the Vikings 30 as McCoy picks up 13.
Must be nice to get a 10-plus yard run when you go the wrong way. I mean, that didn't look right when that play started.
From the 30 on first down. Foles a pump fake. Now he falls. End zone. Touchdown. Deshaun Jackson. 30 yards for the Eagles score.
Just when you think they're out of sync a little bit, they have the big play. Let's see if this is man-to-man coverage. And you can't get everything. You can't play zone the entire game. You can't play man the entire game. But when you've got Robert Blanton against Deshaun Jackson, straight man-to-man on your red zone fringe, that's a matchup that Nick Foles is going to take a look at.
For Deshaun Jackson, his 9th touchdown reception that matches his career high. Henry, the extra point. Well, it was a 3-score game. Eagles chipping away with the touchdown and have pulled to within 11.
So again, it's kind of the coverage that we saw when they had the interception before. You're going to try and impact Harrison Smith because here's your matchup that you want. So can we get that safety out, the safety that's roaming? If we're going to send Deshaun Jackson, how do we get him influence? He's already to the other side. He's committed. He's too late to break. You've got to understand that matchup as well as the safety who's free on the back end of that. Harrison Smith has got to see Deshaun Jackson versus Robert Blanton in a press coverage situation and know that that could be the area that I may need to help out in. And he got focused on the left side. And by the time he recognized it, it was too late.
I'll tell you what, that's a great catch by Deshaun Jackson, too, right over the top. Having to go and turn his body all the way around and coming down with it.
Saw the emotion from Jackson earlier this quarter after the interception by Sean Prater, but now Jackson comes back with a touchdown, and now another short kickoff taken by Jarius Wright at the 25 as the Eagles keep it away from the NFL's top kick returner, Cordero Patterson. This is your game. This is your show. Join the guys on Fox Football Daily every weeknight for the best insights, analysis, and interviews in football. Catch Fox Football Daily weeknights at 6 Eastern only on America's new sports network, Fox Sports 1. Well, now the Eagles defense back on the field. We mentioned in the first half, Vikings had 3 drives of at least 10 plays. Vikings have scored on 2 of their 3 possessions, a touchdown and a field goal here in the second half as Matt Asiata gains 4 out to the 38.
So, Kenny, real quick, Brandon Boykin went in. They're going to evaluate him on head injury, questionable return. And Kurt Coleman is out.
All right, thanks, Goose. So a couple of injuries in the Eagles secondary. Philadelphia defense that has allowed 300 26 yards today, and they've been on the field for over 25 minutes. On second down, quick release by Castle. It's Jennings who throws a stiff arm at Bradley Fletcher and picks up a Vikings first down. Jennings' 9th reception today.
And just a little old school right here by Greg Jennings, getting to the outside using that stiff arm. Watch that face mask. Don't turn it. Don't grab it. You know, the interesting thing on that last graphic we saw, Kenny, we talk about time of possession, and you saw the disparity there, but, you know, just 4 plays difference. Minnesota actually running more plays, just +4, but you saw how much more time they've had with those 4 plays plus.
On first down is Asiata, and he is met in the backfield by Cedric Thornton.
Cedric Thornton does a great job of getting so much penetration. He picks off the puller. Watch right here. Watch how he just backs him up. There's the puller right there. Number 61, Joe Berger. And then just wraps him up. I mean, that's a great defensive line play right there. Missed those days.
Loss of 4, now 2nd and 14. Castle throws, it was deflected, and it is picked off by Michael Kendricks. The first Vikings turnover today. So the Eagles offense with a huge opportunity here in Vikings territory.
You get the deflection in your defensive line, and great strength at the point of the interception by Michael Kendricks. You watch the deflection as it comes out.
That was Logan.
And then out battles Jarius Wright.
Second interception of the season for Kendricks, so the Eagles take over on the Vikings 45-yard line. Foles takes the handoff to McCoy on first down, and now he throws, and the catch is made by the tight end Ertz. Tackled by Sendejo at the Minnesota 28, a 17-yard pass play.
Yeah, we've seen Nick Foles scramble very well in the beginning of the game in that first half. This time as he steps up, he's got an opportunity, but I actually like the decision better to throw the ball to Zach Ertz down the field.
Avant in motion. 1st and 10 for the Minnesota 28 as Foles headed to his right, throws to his left, and Selleck. And Brent Selleck is inside the 10. And finally out of bounds at the 3-yard line.
Brent Selleck does a great job of selling this to the inside, and he sets up a ton of blocks by his offensive lineman out front. Watch this sell. Right here, he's going to start to come to the inside. He gets everybody to duck back under, and now he's got the sideline free and open.
25 yards. Linebacker Audie Cole shake it up. Number 57. Here's Cole, who was hit by Polk at the end of the play.
Hopefully just the wind knocked out of you on that shot to the ribs. But great sell by Brent Selleck back to the inside and then bouncing outside. He set up everybody that was out in front of him on that screenplay. He made their block so much easier.
First catch today for Selleck. Chip Kelly told us yesterday Selleck enjoys blocking more than catching the football, although he's done a great job of that throughout his career as well.
Yeah, he's done a great job, and you know, he's usually part of this. You know, we usually see him mixed up with these big receptions, but that's not been his role this year. You know, he's been tremendous in the blocking. One of the guys that Chip Kelly comes out in his press conferences and compliments immediately after games.
He just runs mean once he gets the ball. Old school.
1st and goal from the 3. Foles to the end zone, and the catch is made for a touchdown by Zach Ertz.
What a catch.
I'll tell you what, that was an impressive catch by Zach Ertz coming out of the slot. 86, watch him matched up man-to-man, just kind of your little fade route to the corner, Look at that one-handed grab and then securing it, going to the ground.
All scoring plays are reviewed. So they will take a look. Ruled a touchdown. Tight ends coming up huge for the Eagles on this drive. The 17-yard catch by Ertz. Selleck goes for 25, and now Ertz in the corner of the end zone. What do you think?
It's a little bit there as he's going through the process. He's got to maintain possession all the way through. There's a little bit of a wiggle there at the end, but I think it's good. I don't think it ever touches the ground.
Touchdown was confirmed. Eagles will go for 2, trailing by 5. They've scored 2 touchdowns in under 3 minutes, thanks to the interception by Kendricks. The Eagles went for 2 5 times in the snow last week. As Falls directs traffic, now throws. He was looking for Cooper. But just like that, it has gone from a 3-score game to a 1-score game.
And that's the scary thing about this offense. They are so explosive that really no lead is safe. Riley Cooper all the way out to your left. And this is going to be one of those extended plays. So he's working hard coming all the way across the field. Sean Prater step for step with him. I tell you what, sitting there on that 4th down at the 25-yard line when they didn't get it, and you're like, wow, could you get to a worst case scenario for Philadelphia right now? And to watch the response at the end of the quarter here, it's amazing. It's got to be so stressful for a defense to play against this offense during the course of the game because of how explosive they are, and that really no lead is safe.
And the momentum, you know, once they get it, it's hard to go and take it away from them. Another script kick here.
Again, the Eagles keep it away from Patterson. Chase Ford on the return. Eagles trail by 18. It's now a 5-point game.
Yeah, we were down to a 3-possession game there for a while, and this was the one that really got a jump started right there. Yeah, you've got Deshaun Jackson with a touchdown there after Minnesota had kicked the field goal after they missed that 4th down. They get the interception, and Zach Ertz with a great catch in the back of the end zone. And just like that, which looked like a safe and secure lead for the Minnesota Vikings after that missed 4th down. Now we're right back into a 1-score game.
Castle on 1st down, fires, and it's caught by Jarius Wright in Eagles territory.
Little update, Kenny, for you. Number 22, Brandon Boykin, cornerback for the Eagles, will not return.
Thanks, Goose. So Boykin and Coleman in the Eagles secondary, both out for the day. Eagles still without Earl Wolf, missing his 4th consecutive game of backup safety. But the Eagles with 2 late touchdowns in the 3rd quarter. Vikings lead is just 5. Eagles with the last 13 points in the 3rd quarter. Cut an 18-point deficit down to 5. As Castle is down. Back at the 42-yard line, Michael Kendricks, who came up with the pick moments ago with his 2nd sack of the season.
Yeah, and he was with D'Amico Ryans, you know, earlier in that 3rd quarter as well. So right now, you know, bringing the pressure inside, Matt Asiata has got to step up there a little bit quicker, sort that out, get some distance away from you and your quarterback. That way, when you make contact, you can wash him out of the way.
Yeah, they've been attacking Castle all day in those A-gaps. Pressure right up the middle, right in his face.
3rd Eagles sack. 2nd and 14. Castle's pass incomplete. Intended for Jennings, who has tied his career high today with 9 receptions. Not this time.
And there was another blitz up the middle on that one. This time it's D'Amico Ryans. He may have knocked Matt Asiata right back into Matt Castle on the follow-through here. We'll see what happens. More frustration than injury, I think.
Third down and 14. Castle fires, and it's complete to the tight end, Chase Ford. And Ford takes it all the way down to the Eagles' 5-yard line on 3rd and 14, a 37-yard connection.
Big missed tackle after the catch. Nice location by Matt Castle on this. Michael Kendricks is going to pick up Chase Ford, man-to-man coverage. Good release there to get underneath. Tight coverage just through the hands, but there's your big miss. Colt Anderson through the hips and wrap up Colt Anderson. Don't try and take the legs out.
Chase Ford, a former Eagle. Colt Anderson, a former Viking. First and goal from the 5. Asiata. Stopped just short.
And Kendricks came with the wood on that one. Holy moly. Asiata had a huge hole right down the middle, running right at me. Kendrick comes from the outside after he's wrapped up. Prevents him from even getting close to that line, to the goal line there. I felt that one.
Jeff Baca checks in as an extra blocker, number 60. Along with 2 tight ends. On second and goal, Asiata walks it in for his 2nd touchdown today.
That's an impressive response by the Minnesota Vikings. And I'm going to go back to something Tony's been talking about here, the decision with the kickoff. Sometimes they've executed them well, but that time they didn't execute it well. They actually got to Chase Ford, you know, kind of shallow, and it got it all the way out to near midfield, and they're able to pick that up and just move right down the field.
Lost the extra point due to the short kickoff. Vikings started at the 46-yard line. They have to go only 54 yards, and Ford gained 37 on this catch. Vikings answer in 2 minutes, 14 seconds.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by T-Mobile. Unleash.
The Vikings lead is back up to 12 after 2 quick Eagles touchdowns at the end of the 3rd quarter. There's Chase Ford, former Eagle, big play. 37 yards on 3rd and 14. Brad Smith back deep for Philadelphia, and he will take it out. Smith across the 30, still on his feet, and he is finally down at the 44-yard line. Well, both of these teams had wild 4th quarters last week, and from the end of the 3rd quarter to the beginning of the 4th today, 3 touchdowns in just over 5 minutes.
And I think that'll be the challenge for the Minnesota Vikings here in the 4th quarter. They've had such heartbreak during the course of the year with those 4 losses inside of 1 minute to play in the game. Can they hang in there and push that again? They've also had a couple of victories. They beat Washington, they beat Pittsburgh in similar scenarios, so they can come back, you know, to their recent history here during the course of the season and be positive about that situation.
From the 44-yard line on 1st down, as Foles was looking for the tight end, Zach Ertz. Time for a game break. Here's Kurt.
All right, New England trying to win to move into the #1 spot in the AFC. This is Tom Brady hooking up with Julian Edelman, 24-yard score. Gives them the lead over Miami, but they're inside 2 minutes, and the Dolphins have the ball. Kenny Moose and Goose.
Patriots with a lead with 2 minutes remaining? What's that all about?
How about working for the top seed with all the discussion early in the season about Tom Brady and his receiving corps?
After 3 straight brilliant comebacks by New England. 3-point lead over Miami as Deshaun Jackson takes it to the Vikings 48. 3rd down and 2. Eagles shuffling in personnel.
That was one of the other things. We've seen a little bit more personnel changes during the course of this game than I remember seeing in the previous games we've done the Philadelphia Eagles.
Foles on 3rd and 2. Wrapped up. Down he goes. It's Jared Allen. Again, his 2nd sack today.
Jared Allen just comes back inside, See him on the outside here with a bull rush. He just takes it correct direction on the outside. That's one thing when you go against Jared Allen. He has so many moves, and then he has the power that he goes back to, and that's exactly what we saw right there.
5-time Pro Bowler, 2 sacks today, 9 on the season. Fair catch is called for by Marcus Sherrills at the 19-yard line. Another big play by Jared Allen.
True athletes. Jared Allen, you see right there, working on his long snapping. Now, that last extra point, we saw Loeffler got his hand stepped on, went to the sideline. Don't know if he's going to be able to go and snap the ball. So Jared Allen just steps right in. You know, those guys on defense are quite athletes.
Especially the D-line.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. You know,
exceptional athlete.
The tough thing is with the gloves on. You know, you can't take those gloves on. They're like taped on. So he's got to go and perform with the gloves on.
Double move.
Castle to Jennings.
I tell you what, I'm so impressed with how aggressive this offense has been. We've talked about Philadelphia and the stress that they put on you offensively, but here's a double move on the outside. Watch Greg Jennings coming from here. Going to double move in this situation. Nice play call. I mean, Kerry Williams completely bites on that one. Able to get over the top.
31 yards from Castle to Jennings, who sets a new personal best with his 10th reception today. Never had 10 as a member of the Packers. This is Asiata. And he is chased down from behind by Connor Barwin. Time for a game break. Here's Joel.
Hey, Kenny, let's go to Cleveland. Jay Cutler has heated up. He's got the Bears moving down the field. He takes a big hit in the pocket and finds Alshon Jeffrey. Circus catch, 45 yards for the touchdown, 4th TD in the last 3 games. It's all tied up. Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
All right, thanks, Joel. There was a flag thrown at the end of the last play. So the officials getting together, flag down at the 40-yard line.
How about Alshon Jeffrey, the season he's having? Holy cow. He and Brandon Marshall together.
For the second time, Walt Anderson tells Matt Castle to get away.
Just trying to help out.
Quite a discussion right here.
Did you ever hang out and talk to the other guys at that time, Tony, or did you get in the huddle? I was always in the huddle.
Yeah, me too.
I got to get back there anyways. I'm tired at this point.
I was either there or I was on the sideline with the guy who runs the oxygen machine, trying to get a little oxygen back
After
in
the
my body.
play, Tawny, number 81, offense. That's a 15-yard penalty, and it'll be 2nd down.
So it's a taunting call on Jerome Simpson.
There's Jerome Simpson right there, kind of talking to Bradley Fletcher. I think they're just having some fun right there. And looked like it was innocent as it started. But Bradley Fletcher doesn't look too happy walking away from it. That was interesting. I didn't see really the taunt. You know, I know they want to go after the guy who initiates the unsportsmanlike and not catch the guy that reacts to it, but I didn't see anything to justify the reaction.
So it is now 2nd down and 27. This is Patterson. Cordero Patterson out to the 40-yard line, pickup of 7. So now it's the Vikings who want to run some time off the clock with a 12-point lead, taking their time to get back to the huddle.
Yeah, you have to compliment Bill Musgrave and the game plan that he's put together today. I mean, you come into this game, you know, with your quarterback trying to work through a situation really for next year with Matt Castle, who's getting his 4th start, but you're down with Adrian Peterson, who's not there. Toby Gerhardt's not there. He's done a really nice job with his play calls today.
3rd down and 20. So now the Vikings will punt it away.
I've seen many of game plans, Darryl, but you know, you talked about Bill Musgrave. Look at this thing. I mean, what is this thing right here? I mean, this is like miniature right now, and no glasses or anything. You know, when you get a little bit older, it's tough to see things. But I'm really surprised that he has a board that small. We've seen gigantic ones from a lot of the other coaches.
Reading that small font.
Hey, maybe so they can't read it from across the field. Jared Allen, what a nice snap.
We saw him practicing on the sidelines. And a terrific kick by the rookie Locke, who took the snap from Allen. What can't he do on the football field? 2 sacks today, and now a long snap, and there is some extracurricular activity. Penalty marker has been thrown.
These late flags, I mean, it's crazy. The play was over. Both teams were going to the sideline, and then the flag comes popping out. Let's see what this one is.
After the play, taunting number 21 of the receiving team. That'll be half the distance to the goal. It'll be first down. Timeout.
Another taunting call. This one on the Eagles, Rock Carmichael.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Walking with Dinosaurs. Friday, only in theaters.
The good old days on a snow day.
I used to go down just on my belly, Moose, flying down the hill.
I don't like the saucer, though. I like the one that can kind of get inside of the long rectangular.
Yeah.
Eagles start from their own 4 following the taunting penalty as Foles gets rid of it to McCoy. Marcus Sanford right there to make the tackle.
Not a lot of opportunities for LaShawn McCoy today, but the Minnesota defense has really kept him in check when he has had the opportunity with the ball.
McCoy only 38 yards on the ground. He has 4 receptions as well. Second down and 8. Foles looking for the tight end, Ertz. Eagles with a pair of late touchdowns in the third quarter to pull to within 5, but the Vikings answered back, and now Foles unable to find Ertz. Third down and 8. Eagles must get to the 15-yard line for a first down as Foles airs it out. No Eagle within 15 yards.
Now they motioned Deshaun Jackson to the outside. He ran an in route, and Nick Foles threw the go route. Adding Chad Greenway to the pressure here. Eagles do a good job picking it up some right there at the end of the throw, but here's on the outside. Deshaun Jackson on the in route. Nick Foles throws the go.
Marcus Sherrill's back deep. Jones punching from his end zone. End-over-end kick taken at the 49 by Sherrills. He stays on his feet and is tackled at the 37. So once again, the Vikings will start in Eagles territory thanks in large part to the play of their defense. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa back in Minneapolis. 12-point lead for the Vikings. They start from the Eagles 36. Asiata, who has 2 touchdowns today, turns the corner, and there is a flag at the end of the play.
A couple of big penalties on back-to-back drives. You had the taunting on Rock Carmichael that backed him up on the
foul,
punt.
unnecessary roughness, number 23, defense. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
That's on Patrick Chung.
I don't know, Darryl.
He's up around the helmet area. It's close to the white. You know, the way that it's, let me tell you, the way it's been called the last, about the last 5 minutes in this game, you're walking a fine line if you step on the boundary of anything right now. But right now, for the Philadelphia Eagles, their secondary is really banged up. You mentioned Colt Anderson. Kurt Coleman was already down. Earl Wolf was out. Brandon Boykin is down. I mean, they're down to just one extra guy in the secondary that's healthy.
This is Jennings. Chung comes up to make the tackle. A gain of 2 for Greg Jennings on his 11th reception. And another late flag is thrown.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 26, defense. That's half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Carey Williams.
Yeah, see, we're not seeing a lot, but we're also not hearing a lot. So something could be being said right there because there wasn't a lot going on. But right now, the Philadelphia Eagles, really both of these teams, have to get a hold of their emotions right now.
Eagles, the second most penalized team coming into this game. 7 penalties today, right around their season average.
But 3 really tough ones consecutively.
First and goal from the 5. Castle to the end zone. Touchdown. Cordero Patterson.
There's that man-to-man situation again. Matt Castle already building some rapport with his receivers. Watch the back shoulder throw to Cordero Patterson. You got the fade going, overplayed by Carey Williams, so you get it on the back shoulder.
Season high in points for the Vikings, despite the absence of both Adrian Peterson and Toby Gerhart. The touchdown has been confirmed. Walsh with the extra point, and the Vikings lead is now 19 after the Eagles chipped away with a pair of touchdowns. Minnesota comes back with 2 touchdowns of their own with under 7 minutes remaining. It's a 19-point lead for the Vikings. They've scored 41 against an Eagles team that allowed 21 or fewer in 9 consecutive games.
Very impressed with the response of the Minnesota Vikings to be up 18, and then Philadelphia, boom, boom, they've got it down to 5 very quickly, and you're like, all right, here comes this offense. A little bit out of sync all afternoon, but they're picking it up right when they have to, and Minnesota hangs in there and responds. And as you pointed out, without Adrian Peterson, and not from a production standpoint, but just from being comfortable having Adrian Peterson in the huddle, knowing that everything's going to be okay, we can take some time off this clock. Matt Castle has been fantastic today. He earned the opportunity the way he played in Baltimore. Leslie Frazier told us, I want to see him again out there on the field today. It is a much different offense when Matt Castle is playing quarterback. It's been aggressive down the field, some big plays, and that was one of the things that I found kind of amazing was coming into the game today. Minnesota's offense was 4th in the NFL, tied for 4th with explosive plays, and that was not their character. If that's the case, it's usually Adrian Peterson.
You know what, Darryl, you're absolutely right. It's just amazing going into this game with all the injuries that Minnesota had and Adrian Peterson not playing today. I'm like, I don't know how they're going to go and scrape it together, but they did. I mean, guys just filled in. Even guys like Jared Allen, the long snapper goes down, he comes in, he starts snapping the ball. These guys are just doing whatever they need to do. And one thing that I like about, looking at this Minnesota team is they're finishing. They're finishing the game. They're finishing plays. They're not letting, whatever the Eagles are doing affect them. They're worried about themselves, and they're moving in the right direction.
And Goose, unlike a former rookie long snapper with the Indianapolis Colts, yep, Jared Allen did not have to call his brother on a payphone and ask him, how do you long snap?
Yeah, that's read my book, Kenny. It's got a lot of good stories in it, buddy.
Do you remember who that long snapper was?
Yeah, I think it was me. It was me. Yeah. Terry Saragucci, that's what they call me. That's the lady called me before the game, but actually made the NFL being a long snapper.
That was your alias as a long snapper?
Yeah, it was.
All right, here's Foles to Deshaun Jackson. First down out to the 46. Joel Klatt, did you ever long snap?
Yeah, all the way back when I was in Little League, and didn't get me to the NFL like it did Goose there. But coming up next, it's America's Game of the Week. Packers, Dallas. Huge one for Dallas, obviously, with Philadelphia so far behind up there in Minnesota. Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
And for the Packers, their first trip to Arlington, Texas since their Super Bowl.
Joel Klatt, the only one ever in Little League being a long snapper. That was nice. Had to get you, Joel. Sorry, buddy.
Look where he is today. 2nd and 10 for the Eagles, who pulled to within 5 late in the 3rd quarter, but 2 Viking touchdowns here in the 4th. Vikings have opened up a 19-point lead. as Foles fires, intended for Riley Cooper, with Sendejo and Prater.
He's just been off target a little bit during the course of the afternoon today. We've seen several balls sail on Nick Foles. And 42 attempts is I don't think where they want him to be in this offense. You want it to be more of the run game. I don't know if that's part of their game plan. Did they feel with the cornerback situation in Minnesota that they wanted to come in and be a little bit more heavier pass than run? But to have LaShawn McCoy back there as your go-to guy, I think he needed some more snaps.
Sean Jackson makes the catch and picks up a first down. Stays in bounds, still on his feet. Jackson inside the 15, the 10, and he is finally tackled inside the 5-yard line.
That's a tremendous individual effort by Deshaun Jackson. I thought he was down on 2 or 3 occasions.
I mean, after the catch, he goes and catches the ball right here.
Look at
nice
that move.
Another missed tackle. Look at how the players on the team get involved. Everyone's blocking downfield. That's a great effort on his behalf right there.
10 receptions for 195 yards for Deshaun Jackson, as that last play went for 51. His career high is 210. Play clock runs all the way down, and the Eagles did not get the snap away in time.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Wonder if that's been called before.
Against these guys,
Philadelphia
delay, right?
10 catches for Deshaun Jackson today is a new career high. Still 15 shy of his career high in yardage. First and goal following the penalty from the Vikings 9. Eagles empty the backfield. And Foles is brought down by Robinson for the second time today. It is the 4th Vikings sack. 2 for Jared Allen and 2 for Brian Robinson.
And you really have to credit the secondary of the Vikings because the ball is not coming out on time. Nick Foles has to hold it a little bit more than we've seen in the past. And 2 athletic edge rushers for the Minnesota Vikings, Jared Allen and Brian Robinson.
Loss of 7. Second and goal. Under 5 minutes remaining. Foles moving to his right, being chased by Robinson, throws end zone. It's a touchdown, Jason Avant.
Nick Foles does a good job extending this. He feels the pressure, escapes to his right. Again, it's Brian Robinson up the field, squeezing there, steps out to his right. Jason Avant crossing the field from the inside. There's 81 pushing up and then out to the corner. Nice sell at the top of that stem. Got Robert Bland going inside.
This is the second charge timeout, Philadelphia.
So Chip Kelly thinking about going for 2. If you go for 2 here, it becomes an 11-point game if you're successful. So touchdown, 2-point conversion, field goal. So the Eagles will go for 2. If you kick the extra point, it's a 12-point 2-possession deficit. There have been 5 touchdowns scored in the last 13 minutes, 48 seconds. It's rubbing off from the games both teams played last week.
Wild. Both of these guys in wild games.
Eagles now down to 1 timeout as they set up for the 2-point conversion attempt. Foles throws corner of the end zone. It's Riley Cooper who makes the catch and gets both feet down. So It is now an 11-point game with 4.5 remaining.
I've been impressed with Nick Foles' throw on the move. This is Riley Cooper coming all the way across the back of the end zone. Moving out to his right. That's great location by Nick Foles. Very impressed with him on the move today.
We've talked about Chip Kelly's coaching philosophy. We saw him go for it on 4th and 1 back in the third quarter, which gave the Vikings back the football at the Eagles 24. With only one timeout, you go for the onside kick here, even with 4:26 on the clock. Eagles have only one timeout remaining.
I wouldn't be surprised if he did. That's a tough one. I need my cheat sheet.
It's not much different than the kickoffs that they've been going and showing us.
Well, that's true.
But you know what?
It's another 5 yards less, 10 yards less. It's unbelievable.
Just checking to confirm that Riley Cooper got both feet down on the 2-point play. Possession all the way to the ground through the process of the catch. Sure looks good there. So in this situation, I kind of think that, you have to look at how your defense is playing. Now some discussion whether Riley Cooper stepped on the back line, working his way across the back of the end zone. So they'll replay that back a little bit farther from the end of the catch.
Bottom of the screen.
Here he comes all the way across the back.
Looked like he stayed in.
Yeah, I don't think he was even close.
But, Tony, to get back to your question about the onside kick, I think the big thing is my defense has been having a tough day today. Minnesota has been driving the ball. So if we kick it deep and play that route, do we get a chance to get the ball back?
Well, if you kick it deep, you got to kick it to Patterson, too.
Well, they haven't all day. In this situation right here, I don't think that that's an issue. But that would be my concern. I would talk to everybody about that. I get with my defensive coaches, and to me, that would be the biggest concern in this decision. Not so much the clock, but what Minna has been doing offensively.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. The try's good.
So the 2-point conversion was ruled successful. And 11-point Minnesota lead with 4:26 remaining. Leslie Frazier, former Eagles assistant for 4 seasons under Andy Reid from 1999 through 2002. He was the DB's coach, and what a group Frazier had to work with. Troy Vincent, Ryan Dawkins, Bobby Taylor went to a combined 8 Pro Bowls under the tutelage of Leslie Frazier.
Played against that secondary. They were phenomenal.
Patterson drops back to the 20. They've kept it away from Patterson all game long with short kicks. The onside kick is recovered by Jerome Simpson of the Vikings, as we welcome those of you who have just joined us, who have been watching the Giants and the Seahawks. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa here in Minneapolis. The first place Philadelphia Eagles trail the Minnesota Vikings by 11, 41-30, a season high 41 points for the Vikings, despite the absence of both Adrian Peterson and his backup Toby Gerhart.
Excellent execution by the Philadelphia Eagles on the onside kick, and just a great play by Jerome Simpson to go up high, catch that ball, and secure it. But well executed on the onside kick.
Eagles decide to go for the onside kick with 4.5 left because Philadelphia is down to just 1 timeout. So Matt Castle and the Vikings start from the Eagles' 48-yard line. This is Matt Asiata, who had only 3 career carries, none this season, coming into the game today, and he has scored 2 of the Vikings' touchdowns.
He's done a nice job of allowing the Vikings to still have a presence in the running game, to stay ahead of the chains. There's Adrian Peterson right there.
We welcome those of you who have been watching the 49ers and the Buccaneers. Matt Asiata in his 2nd season out of Utah. Broke his leg in his first collegiate game. Originally a member of the Vikings practice squad. That play in 2011, 3 carries last year, and he started today for Adrian Peterson and Toby Gerhart, both out. Wrapped up by Trent Cole. Vikings with an 11-point lead. Big day for Matt Castle, making his 4th start of the season.
Yeah, this was the best decision this week by Leslie Frazier to give him another opportunity after he played well against the Ravens in the loss last week. Nice play right there on the QB draw, but he has added a dimension in the passing game that's much more vertical, much more aggressive than we've seen from the Minnesota Vikings in the past. And the big thing is they have the playmakers on the outside now to be useful in that situation with Greg Jennings, Cordero Patterson, Jerome Simpson. This is becoming a vertical offense.
A career game for Jennings, 11 receptions, 163 yards. This is Patterson. Patterson needed to get to the 38-yard line for a first down, and he did.
He's got great presence for a young guy, and it was one of the concerns about him only having 1 year of major college football at Tennessee under his belt. How would he respond situationally? There's a great play right there on the 3rd and 11, walking the sideline, getting the first down. We saw the reach earlier in the game when he was short of a first down, extended the ball. We saw him on an end-around passing situation where he pulled the ball down because it was not there. So I've been impressed with his football skills and his IQ out there on the field today.
Under 3 minutes remaining, Eagles with only 1 timeout as Asiata takes it down to the 35-yard line for this Vikings team with only 3 wins on the season. Coming into this game 3-9-1, but they have lost 4 games in the final minute. They had a lead with under a minute remaining in all 4 of those games.
Yeah, but Leslie Frazier won't let him focus on what happened in the past. He had him focused on Philadelphia this week in their preparation and not what might have been had they finished those games. And it had to be tough not having Adrian Peterson out there. We watched him at practice on Friday, thought there was a chance he would play. But I think it was a smart decision to have him sit down today and not risk anything bad happening down the stretch.
We spoke to Peterson as Asiata takes the handoff on Friday and told us he wanted to play, did everything in his power to try and get himself ready for the game today. But as far as his career in the future is concerned, it certainly was the right decision, no matter the result of today's game.
No, much more important for him to be there next year. And it was funny, the passion he has for the game and the connection he has with his teammates. You know, we asked him, he said, well, when you go in to sit down with Coach Frazier and he decides to sit you down, how's that going to go? And he was very honest. He said, it's not going to go well because I want to be out there and play. I want to be able to help my teammates.
We also warned Leslie Frazier also that maybe he should get his old pads and maybe a helmet. He's going to go in there and convince him that not to play because he seemed pretty adamant about playing today. But like Darryl said, it was good that he did sit down, recover, get as healthy as you possibly can, and he's got a couple more games left in the season.
And Tony, I thought that was excellent advice that you gave the Vikings head coach. And Leslie Frazier said to us flat out, AP is the franchise. We don't want to put him in harm's way.
Hey, go ways off on this.
Eagles have used their final timeout, and now the Vikings call timeout with 2:08 on the clock here in the 4th quarter. The Eagles coming into this game, 5-game winning streak, longest in the National Football League. They were unable to reach the end zone in the first half. Vikings did a terrific job keeping the ball away from the Eagles offense. They had it for only 9.5 minutes prior to halftime.
Yeah, yes, they did. They were out of sync offensively, and from that standpoint, we're not able to establish that rhythm that they like to play with, but they've got to put this game behind them right now. And it's a situation that Chip Kelly always talks about. We're focused on the upcoming opponent immediately. They get a little bit of time to enjoy the victory. They flush the defeat as quickly as possible. They're going to be on to the next opponent as fast as they can. And this is really probably the one performance that all the Eagles fans are going to say, what happened against Minnesota? We haven't seen them like this since the Dallas game earlier this season.
Up next for the Eagles, the Bears next Sunday night as Castle goes deep and there is a flag. Patterson, the intended receiver, Bradley Fletcher on the coverage.
Take a
Pass
look.
interference, number 21, defense. First down.
It was funny to see after this play, Patterson and Jennings get together, and Jennings was right next to me saying, I told you, just go. You can beat him long, man. He's going to have to go and draw a penalty on him. That's exactly what happened on that play.
Walt Anderson announced 21. It was 24, Fletcher. So the Vikings now with a 1st and goal from the Eagles 7. Season high 41 points for Minnesota. They scored 34 and wins over the Steelers and the Redskins.
Mike's 5'9", at least they don't know the play now. What are you doing, Joe? Louise!
Joe Webb in motion on first down. It's Asiata. He has 2 touchdowns today, and he's tackled inside the 5 by Fletcher Cox. As we hit the 2-minute warning here in Minneapolis. Vikings by 11.
Today's game is sponsored by the Samsung Galaxy Note 3 and Galaxy Gear.
Dallas Cowboys getting ready for their game with a close eye on the Vikings and the Eagles.
Very close eye. Very close eye. I think they probably felt they let one slip away last week with their performance against Chicago, but Philadelphia today has brought Dallas back into it. I really expected Philadelphia to handle business today and next week, and then you had to wait and see what Dallas was going to do against Green Bay and Washington.
We welcome those of you who have just joined us as Matt Castle hands off to Matt Asiata. Eagles are out of timeouts. Vikings lead by 11. Adrian Peterson inactive today following the injuries suffered last week in Baltimore. Toby Gerhardt, his backup, out as well. Season high 41 points for the Vikings, and LaShawn McCoy, who set a franchise record 217 yards on the ground last week against Detroit, fell to just 38 yards on 8 carries. McCoy and Peterson coming into play today, 1 and 2 in the NFL in rushing. 3rd and goal. It is Asiata, and he is in for his 3rd touchdown today.
Congratulations to Matt Asiata. What a great day today for him.
Just a power runner right up the middle all day long, getting 2 yards, you know, whatever you need. Take a look at this shot right here. He's just coming straight downhill. Nice little cut right there.
Good job by Jerome Felton.
Lost the extra point for Matt Asiata. He had 3 career carries coming into the game today. 3 touchdowns against the Eagles.
Just wait for your opportunity to be a part of the team, to be able to contribute to the team. And he's taking advantage of that this afternoon.
And the 3 rushing touchdowns for Asiata ties a Minnesota Vikings franchise record. It has been done 16 times, 3 rushing touchdowns in 1 game, including 5 times by Adrian Peterson.
He's going to have his name on a pretty impressive list.
Chuck Foreman, Herschel Walker, also on the list.
That's some good names to be mentioned with.
Well, Chip Kelly said last week, as soon as the game ended, the win over Detroit, he was thinking about the Vikings. Do you think he has already started to think about the Chicago Bears?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
$18-point lead for the Vikings, who have scored 48. We head to Los Angeles and Joel Klatt. Joel?
Kenny, a crazy finish in Atlanta. Kirk Cousins had over 380 yards passing on the day, and he drove them right down the field, gets a touchdown to Santana Moss. They go for 2 and the win, but they cannot connect. Falcons hang on 27-26. Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
So Mike Shanahan goes for 2 and the win. It's the Falcons by 1 over the Redskins.
You didn't want to shut it down and go to overtime.
Kirk Cousins making his first start of the season for RG3 as that pass sails through the hands of LaShawn McCoy. Great job by our entire crew here in Minneapolis. Producer Barry Landis, director Brian Lilly, associate director Eric Mandia, broadcast associate Paul Marmero, our technical producer Sid Drexler, technical director Chris Castro, pregame show produced by Bill Richards, directed by Stephanie Medina, our statistician Dave Corris, spotter Ben Boma. 1:04 remaining. Eagles' 5-game win streak will come to an end. Foles complete to Zach Ertz, the tight end. But America's Game of the Week coming up. Many of you will see the Cowboys and the Packers. It's the Saints and the Rams, Cardinals, and the Titans. Eagles with the Bears next Sunday night, and then a trip down south to face the Cowboys on the final day or night, depending, of the regular season. Minnesota Vikings will win for the 4th time this year. All 4 wins coming at home. They're the only team without a victory on the road, and the Vikings will play one more home game here at Mall of America Field. The roof scheduled to be deflated on January 18th as the Vikings look ahead to the next 2 seasons of home games outdoors. So the Vikings put up a season-high 48. Jared Allen with a couple of sacks, did some long snapping as well. 5-game win streak comes to an end for Chip Kelly and the Eagles. For Darryl Johnston and Tony Siragusa, this is Kenny Albert saying so long from Minneapolis. America's Game of the Week coming up after these messages.